I heard the live ding.
Yep, we're on now. Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining Guns 111th One-on-One Episode 4, brought to you by our sponsor, Sonoran Desert Institute. Tonight's guest is one of the duos of the YouTube channel Talking Lead, a chair on the SDI School of Firearms Technology, and the new host of Shooting USA, which is a feature on Outdoors channel. Zeke Stout, everyone.
What do I do?
Make your introduction.
I'm supposed to talk here? I don't know. I got a camera on me. I don't know what to do, man. How's it going, man? You doing all right?
Yeah, pretty good.
I'm not as graced to be the host of Shooting USA. I'm going to be a new media correspondent, I guess is the best way to put it.
Well, I guess I can straight through that question we discussed earlier because I forgot to edit it. I edited it down there. I didn't edit it up here.
That's cool. You know, hey, we'll roll with it.
We'll get to that in anyway.
Yeah.
Actually, give me 1 second. Get my dog out of my room because she just showed up. Yeah.
That's awesome. See, that makes for good content right there.
All right, let's get back to it. As always, we'll be taking questions throughout tonight's broadcast, so please be sure to submit them. Zeke, tell them a little about yourself, please.
I'm 6'7", I have brown hair and blue eyes. I enjoy long range time shooting days. And what exactly are you talking about? Like, you know. Well, like you said, I'm one of the hosts of Talking Lead. We've got a podcast. We've got a YouTube channel. Kind of got a YouTube channel. We're not like big or anything, but podcast is fun. We got a lot of cool guests who come on there. I'm also the chair of Sonoran Desert Institute, their School of Firearms Technology, and I live in Tennessee, vaguely.
All right.
Come on, Peyton. You got to know this dead air thing is the devil.
This is only my 4th episode. Leave me alone.
Dead air is the devil.
Well, I guess we'll begin with Talking Lead. Just tell us a little bit about what you do on the channel and how it's kind of evolved over its lifetime.
Talking Lead started off, me and Left Hand, which I want to address something real quick. Had a couple questions of what's going on, Zeke? You got this gig with SDI, and we don't see you on Talking Lead videos anymore. And just want to let you know that we are still Talking Lead, the duo. I almost said the couple. That would not have sounded well at all. But yeah, Left Hand does a lot, man. He and I both have careers, and we work hard. He's a very successful in what he does in his real job, his paying job. So he's busy all the time. I'm busy all the time. We take as much time as we can to connect, but I couldn't have done any of this without him. So give credit where credit's due. There's nothing going on with Talking Lead, people. But we got a podcast. It's on iTunes. It's on our website. You can listen there, talkinglead.com. We also do YouTube videos. We got Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. Basically, we try to not talk politics about guns outside of Second Amendment. So everybody's welcome as long as you're pro-gun. Jump on board. We have everybody from people in the industry, manufacturers, shooters, competition shooters, up to country music artists, musicians, rock artists, actors, anybody. As long as they're pro-gun, we have them on the show. We talk to them and kind of shoot the beep about guns. So I don't know if you can cuss on the show or not.
You can cuss, it's fine. No one watches it anyway.
We shoot the shit about guns.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize when it comes to YouTube, and especially firearms, there's not a whole lot of money to be made in just YouTube.
No.
A lot of people do it for the hobby. A lot of people spend a small fortune just trying to get themselves started.
And in defense of some of our friends that have, hundreds of thousands, you and I both know, just because they got hundreds of thousands of subscribers doesn't mean they're making a ton of money too. It all depends on what YouTube decides to pay out as far as AdSense that month. So we've all got to be holding down other jobs as we're also providing. Well, I was going to say entertaining content, but I'll just say content with our stuff. Dead Dead air, baby. I'm just gonna start saying dead air.
I got one screen, 3 screens open. Now we're gonna stay on the subject of YouTube for a couple minutes longer.
All right.
Yeah. We've seen a lot of debate recently about people on YouTube not being qualified to do firearms reviews. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, this is going to go back further or later into the Sonoran Desert Institute thing, but I just want to hear your thoughts.
It will, and I'm actually going to tie it in now. So we get a lot of that, you know, and I'll come back to that question. But with the school, we do have some of the bigger YouTube channels as instructors, and we've gotten some feedback saying, hey, how is a YouTuber giving me instruction on firearms? That just doesn't make sense. Well, people, just because you have a YouTube channel doesn't mean you're not a professional in another way, shape, or form. If somebody who ran a Fortune 500 channel or Fortune 500 company decided to put out a YouTube channel about business, does that all of a sudden disqualify him from teaching about business because now he has a YouTube channel, even though he runs a Fortune 500 company? So there's a lot of people on YouTube that are very, very qualified to give reviews on guns. In fact, more qualified than some of other forms of reviews that are out there. There are also a lot of people on YouTube that aren't qualified, and they give the others of us that try to do something entertaining and fun. And let's use me for example. I'm not qualified to give a review. I suck at reviews. In fact, if you go back to our channel and you watch the reviews that I was a part of, I end up just throwing stuff across the room during the review because I suck at it. So I admit freely, you will not see me review a gun unless it's something new that comes out that I like, and the only time I'll review it is if I'm saying, hey, I really like this about this gun because it's my personal opinion. I'll never throw in, okay, this is combat ready, or this is great for police in this situation or in this shooting situation. No, it's, hey, the new Glock 42 is a great shooting 380 compared to other 380s I've shot. Simple. That's my opinion. So if people have issue with somebody not being qualified to give a review just because they're on YouTube, they need to do a little bit more digging, because they may have a very extensive background. In fact, I'm thinking of 2 people right now that have big YouTube channels that do have a very extensive background in both police work and combat. So there's my take on that. But just because all of a sudden you are on YouTube doesn't mean you're in your mom's basement, you know, watching Ninja Turtles all day.
Well, I'm sure there's plenty of people with YouTube channels that all they do is talk about Ninja Turtles, and they're probably more successful than most gun people are.
True. That's the sad part. There's YouTube channels out there. My daughter, she watches these little Japanese candy videos, like unwrapping these Japanese candies that could do cool things, which are pretty cool when I sit down with her. But I looked at some of the views on these things. You're talking millions of views on how to play with a dadgum Japanese candy wrapper crap thing.
Thousands of comments, too.
Yeah, I'm like, what in the world is this?
All right. I'll remind the audience, please feel free to ask questions in the little box below that says be part of this conversation, and we're going to end up coming around to them. Now, you are a very busy man, which is the reason Talking Lead isn't always shown on you. You're also one of the chairs of SDI, which is also one of our sponsors for this show and our channel in general. And we are grateful for that opportunity. Thanks to you, actually. But tell the audience a little bit about SDI.
I won't tell the audience that you skipped a question too, but SDI is SDI. We are a School of Firearms Technology. We have a gunsmithing certificate program that you can enroll in. We also have an associate's degree in firearms technology. We also have individual builds that you can do where we teach you how to build with an 80% lower. An AR-15, an AR-10. We're soon coming out with a 2-vets arm side charging 308, which is going to be awesome. And we're also coming out with something else that's going to be very awesome, which is a 1911, and that thing's going to be awesome too. Within the gunsmithing program and the associates program, you'll get to choose one of those as your final project too. A lot of people say, well, it's online learning. How do I learn anything about gunsmithing with that? My retort to that is, you can gain all of the knowledge that you need to learn, book knowledge. But yes, you do need to have some hands-on. To counterbalance that, we do have those builds. That's why we have those builds. You can also, we're starting to develop a field study program where you'll go out for 3 weeks after your program's done to a manufacturer, gunsmith shop, another gun shop somewhere, and you'll get to do some hands-on with a certified gunsmith or manufacturer. So that's going to help kind of curb that whole, how do you get to be a gunsmith without any hands-on kind of thing.
All right, and you'll have veterans.
Yeah, I was going to say, it is covered by the GI Bill, so you can use your GI Bill to do that. We're an accredited college by the DEAC. They're recognized by the Department of Education. So.
Cool. Now I'll go back to that question I missed. Thanks for pointing that out, by the way.
Oh, I didn't say anything. Yeah. Hey. Yeah.
All right. We'll go back to talking lead real quick. You have a lot of firearms guests on your show, probably more than most people I know, in all different disciplines, from the shooting enthusiasts to like the real three-gunners to the actual subject matter experts on firearms. What has been some of your most memorable moments?
I would say our biggest one, and I credit him with a lot of the growth of Talking Lead. Our 4th episode, first few episodes we had, I think 20, 30 listeners. I think the 3rd one we had hit almost 100, and we were like, woo, 100 listeners. Then we had our friend Hitchcock 45 come on. And that episode we had over 4,000 people listening in like 90-something countries. And we were like, oh my God, we didn't know what had happened. But everybody out there, if you watch his videos, he is the exact same person on those videos as he is in real life. He's a genuine good person. He's been on since then several times, and every time we do, we realize how stupid we are because we have him on to make us sound a little more dumb. But he's a really great guy. As far as outside of the shooting realm, but that's pro-gun, I would say there's been a couple of guests that we've had. One was one of the most recent guests. We had A.J. Hawk from the Green Bay Packers. I know a lot of people aren't football fans in the firearms world, but it was very neat to have him come on, talk about the charity we did. We grew our hairs out for his charity, hawkslucksforkids.org, and talk about how he got into firearms, because he's a hunter. I mean, a lot of NFL players, a lot of athletes in general are hunters and gun guys. It's just they don't get to talk about it a whole lot like we do. But A.J. Hawk was probably another memorable one. Don Shipley, he was a good one. That was a fun interview. He's I think it's Buds131 on YouTube. He's the guy, the ex-Navy or the retired Navy SEAL that goes around and exposes all the fake Navy SEALs. It's a fun channel to watch, and that was a fun interview to talk about some of the stuff he did too.
Yeah, I don't really know a lot about Don Shipley. I just recently subscribed to him, so I mean, but
he's got amazing hair. He has amazing hair.
He has amazing hair.
He does.
All right. Anyone else come to mind right off the bat?
Right off the bat. Well, I hate baseball, so that really gave me a brain fart. But Reaper Outdoors guys, they've actually become good friends of ours. Doug Dadish and Ron and John Bellin, they've got a show on Sportsman Channel called Reaper Outdoors. It's kind of like a survival show and a hunting show all blended into one. It's pretty cool. But yeah, they've always been good guests when we've had them on.
It's not like Naked and Afraid, someone's naked and the other guy's afraid, or?
Yeah. And of course, all our friends we've had, all our YouTube friends, Eric and Brandy and Chad, all the Iraq veteran crew, Ray, Tim, Military Arms Channel. What's that one tall guy? Oh gosh, I think his name is like 32 Plunkster or some crap like that. He's an all right interview. He and I have a rivalry going back way back. So I just teed up a question for you there, buddy.
If you did, it wouldn't be on me.
Now, 22 Points and I, we used to be high school basketball rivals, and we didn't realize that until a Second Amendment rally, and we were talking about where we went to high school, where we played basketball, and then we realized, and the rivalry has stayed. Of course, I won't challenge him to trick shooting because he'll smoke me.
Yeah, you can split a playing card at like 25 yards with a 22 caliber. That's not really a guy you want to mess with.
Yeah. And I have been there for a lot of those videos. People that get on his site and his channel and say fake all the time. Yeah, no, he does that stuff. It may take a few shots, but he does it.
Oh yeah, not the last YouTube range day that you didn't attend, by the way, but the one before that. I saw him split a playing card with a 50 Beowulf.
Yeah, yeah. I was at that one 2 years ago.
You were at that one. You were the recent one, though.
Oh, no, I wasn't the recent one. That's where I met you was 2 years ago at that one.
Really? I thought it was SHOT Show.
That's where I met you was at SHOT Show 2 years ago.
Yeah. All right, let's keep moving on. I would say let's get some audience questions in, but no one's corresponding quite yet, so we're just going to keep moving on. You recently got a gig with Shooting USA on the Outdoors channel. Mm-hmm. What are you going to be doing?
I am going to be kind of their new media correspondent. I love doing that. I hate doing it. I hate it when other people do it, but all of a sudden when I start doing that, it's fun. It's like little rabbit ears. Anyways, I'm going to be their new media correspondent, doing kind of little 30, 40-second blurbs on different guns at NRA. That's where we're going to start off. Could be doing a lot more segments as we go on. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited. It's a neat idea. John Scout and I were sitting down and talking, and his dad came in on the conversation, Jim. And they were saying they really wanted to do some cross-pollination and, cross-promotion with some of the new media people out there. And they're here in Tennessee with us, and it was kind of a no-brainer for us to partner up and do some stuff together. So I'm really excited about it. Really great people. Good show. It's been around for, well, Shooting USA as it is, I think is a little over a decade and a half, but John Scouten has been doing gun-related TV stuff for 30-something years, I believe.
All right. This goes back into the same thing. I mean, do you think your time on YouTube has helped you become a member of or gotten you the gig on Shooting USA?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Between Talking Lead, the podcast, and YouTube, it was absolutely that. You go back and look at some of our first videos. I mean, I was never like nervous in front of the camera, but I wasn't me. And then eventually I started just loosening it up and just like, okay, whatever, I'm just going to be me. And it worked a lot better. But yeah, it absolutely helped get me to that point.
All right. And this will also go back to what I was talking about earlier. Like, YouTube is not a moneymaker for the firearms social media content creators, but it can get you in other roads. For me, it's I don't just do my channel anymore either. I do other people, like one or two other people's channels now too, and a lot of their content creation. I got that gig, a paying gig, because of the YouTube channel I created that doesn't pay anything. So I mean, if anyone's watching, YouTube can get you there.
It can get you there. You can learn a lot from it. I mean, in all reality, Talking Lead started because, Left Hand and I wanted to learn a lot. I really wanted to make a difference in the industry too. So, I think the passion that we had for firearms and the firearms industry kind of came across, both on the podcast and on the videos. So people started to gather that, and I've got a fairly extensive business background. So that helped me get me where I am with SDI and a couple of other things. But for the most part, the more you learn and the more you're doing these videos, if you do it right and you do your research and you don't just go by what Billy Bob down the street told you, you can learn a lot and you can get some good experience, especially on the editing side, on the creative side, confidence side. I mean, I don't know if you can attest to this too, but there's something about getting in front of the camera over and over and over again. It gives you a little bit of confidence behind it too.
Yeah, it definitely lightens you up. The first video I ever made, I'm just sitting there like the camera is projecting an idiot beam right at your face, and you just can't think of anything to say, no matter how hard you practice your scripts or wrote it out or just
what do I do with my hands?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But eventually,
but the biggest thing, it's fun. That's the biggest part of it. I mean, it's fun to do. If you don't take yourself too seriously and you just have a blast doing it, it's a good time.
yeah. And you end up meeting other people too. Like I met you at SHOT Show 2 years ago, and like it. I'm not going to say we're exactly a family because there's rivalries and stuff. No matter how much we talk about it, everybody wants to have more subscribers than the other guy. Everybody wants to be as the top guy. Blah blah blah. But we all get along, and we get to go to shoots, and we all get to say hi to each other and hang out at SHOT Show and YouTube Range Days and all the events.
And that's the thing. This is one thing I'll tell everybody else. No matter what size channel you are, if you have a YouTube channel out there, this community, and when I say that, I'm not talking about YouTube as a whole. I'm talking about the gun community on YouTube, is a very tight knit and a very much a you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of community. But you got to scratch back. So, and you also got to build the relationship. Don't walk up to, Tim from Military Arms Channel, and before you say, hi, my name's John Doe, you go, hey, can you push my channel? I mean, that's just an instant, what? Dude, chill out. Because we all, I mean, you can attest to this too, everybody in this little circle, this YouTube gun community, and I don't want to say little circle, that sounds cliquish, but the community of the YouTube gun world is very friendly, and we're all out to help each other because that's the only way we're going to be successful with this. But don't try to get to know everybody, I mean, I didn't know you from Adam. I didn't know how big your channel was, how small your channel was, anything. And we got along fine and got to rolling. Hell, I forgot your channel 2 or 3 times. I think you forgot my channel 2 or 3 times. But I know who Peyton was, and you knew who Zeke was. That's how you build these relationships. Don't just walk up to somebody without introducing yourself and just go, hey, can you push my channel? It's uncomfortable. It's weird. And more than likely, we all will at some point in time. But it's just like,
Yeah, I've kind of learned that lesson.
Again.
Everyone will actually do that, at least and make that as a beginner's mistake. Because everyone does that at first. They're like, ooh, I need views, so I'll go ask a Military Arms channel, even though I don't know him, never met him, and he's never seen my stuff.
And everybody's approachable. Everybody is. I have yet to wow, there's my Tennessee education. I've yet to see one YouTuber, when somebody approaches them, to say hi, how are you, talk about YouTube, talk about guns, anything. Just say, leave me alone, or get away from me, or push them away, or ignore them. I could be wrong. Maybe I've missed it, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, me too. Let's get into some politics now.
Uh-oh.
Now, this is probably about as redundant as kicking a dead horse, but the ATF has recently tried to ban M855 or green tip ammunition, which the ATF did withdraw over 90,000 after over 90,000 comments were left in the 90-day period of review. What are your thoughts on this? Keep in mind that some Democratic legislators have tried to say all 5.56 ammo is now armor piercing and should be taken off. There's actually legislation for it.
You know what? With this whole issue, we've all seen it. We've all heard it. It's been kind of shelved for a while, hopefully forever. It's there's so many ways I could take this subject. With the M855, it was going to be tough to get from the get-go just because of the way the ATF definitions are laid out. So I wasn't too worried about it to begin with. But what worries me, we can't all get into a panic. We can't all start going crazy and buying every single freaking pallet of ammo out there because it makes the cost skyrocket, which hurts some people that can't afford it. I don't know how legible I'm coming across right now because I'm doing other things with my hands. But I mean, am I making any sense with that? It's kind of like something we don't need to panic about. The reason we don't need to panic is 2 reasons. One, this bill, and 2, a year ago, 2 years ago, whenever it was that the assault weapons ban got voted down. What does that mean? That means our system's not broken yet. It's not time to riot in the streets yet. I say yet. I emphasize yet. I'm not saying there never will be a time, because I know a lot of people will be like, oh, yeah, it is. It got voted down. We had 90,000, what'd you say, 90,000 comments on the ATF
Yeah,
page?
last count it was 90,000.
And what did they do? They shelved it.
Yeah.
That means our system is still working. We still have the power with our voice. If we continue to utilize that, the reason the assault weapons ban got passed way back in the Clinton days, there wasn't this internet thingy where we could all band together and share information and learn about it and find out what is the real deal, what's the real story. So people just kind of blindly went with whatever the government told us. It's not like that anymore. But our system works because we're able to stop this stuff now. By banding together, sharing information with each other, and contacting our congressmen and congresswomen, senators, anybody we can possibly contact that has anything to do with this. Putting over 90,000 comments, which I think that's probably a gross understatement on how many comments they actually got.
I would tend to agree with that.
Yeah, we can stop things with our voice. Now, if it ever gets to the point where we know hundreds of thousands of people are fighting this and they still push it through, maybe then we might need to start worrying. But right now, it's one of those things where we still have a voice. We still have power. There goes my dogs. My dogs are broody.
Okay, still on topic of politics, what do you think of the firearms community that we can do to help the overall betterment of the Second Amendment? You probably just covered that just now, so.
What do you mean betterment of the Second Amendment?
I mean, what do you think we can do? Like, you're talking about the voice.
Yeah, I mean, stay active. Stay active and there's a lot of people that don't like the NRA that are gun people. Well, great, go to the Second Amendment Foundation. Go to wherever. Go, you know, when these companies, NRA, Second Amendment Foundation, I can't remember what the other one is. There's another one that's a big one.
America, what's the one Such and Tim's belongs to?
Yeah, but I mean, any of those gun rights groups, they need money to fight. It costs a lot of money to get on Capitol Hill and make some of the waves that we make. So, you know, donate to them. Be active in the organizations. Whichever one you choose, be active in your local community. One thing that I love seeing people calmly talking to anti-gun people and saying, hey, look, this isn't right. Now, a word of advice. If there's 2 or more anti-gun people and it's just you, don't just walk away. You can't fight the mob mentality. It's impossible. But if you can get one-on-one with some of these people and then you explain the science, you explain, hey, yeah, what you saw in the movie when a guy got shot with a 1911 and went flying 20 feet into a wall and broke the sheetrock, that's not real. You can't just kill somebody with one shot every time. So that's why we need multiple magazines. So, and explain the science behind things, and then take them to the range. You know, take them to the range. Don't take an anti-gun person to the range and hand them a Smith & Wesson 500. Because then they're going to shoot it and be like, oh, I'm right. These things are incredibly crazy dangerous. No, start them off small, maybe even a 22, 9mm, 380, something like that, and get them acclimatized to it. I've done it with 2 different people, and both of them have guns now and own guns. There's a way to get through these people and educate them and show them that we're not all sitting in our closet with our Mosin Nagant going, I can't wait till the revolution. That's all I want to do. That's not what we are all about. You know, we love America and we love to do all the stuff we're allowed to do here. And part of the reason we get to do that is because of the Second Amendment. Because, I mean, to avoid the cliche, but it's true, the Second Amendment is the amendment that protects all the other amendments.
Yeah. Going back to the anti-gun, I hear the term gun lobby a lot. We're not a gun lobby per se. We're just trying to protect our rights. You'd have the same. Most people would think the same thing about the first if they were trying to impose these same objections.
Yeah, I mean, and here's another thing. This has been working for me a lot, and I got this from Reed at Tactical Response when he came on the show, and I've used it over and over and over again. And so many people, when they hear it, there's a bell that goes off. And all you trolls, don't take this the wrong way. Let's forget the Second Amendment. Let's imagine we don't even have one. Let's imagine we have no government, there's no constitution, we're just humans roaming around the United States. All right? So there's no government, there's no Bill of Rights, there's no nothing. And Peyton attacks me with a steel pipe. I have a right to pick up a steel pipe and go back at him. Peyton comes at me with a revolver. I pretty much have a right, if I can get a revolver, to use it on him. If Peyton comes at me with a machine gun, same thing. And you ask the people this back and forth. Let's say, forget all of the rights, forget all the government, forget all that stuff that you keep arguing. It's a simple human right to defend yourself. If you came at me with a Sherman tank, if I had access to a Sherman tank, you're damn right I'm going to be coming back at you with a Sherman tank. It's all about defending yourself and being able to defend yourself with what the other person has. And when you argue it that way, I have never seen an anti-gunner that can go against that argument, because they always try to debate the language in the Second Amendment and how it was written and why it was written. And no, forget the Second Amendment. If you come at me with a gun, I'm coming at you with a gun. It's that simple. But I do believe in the Second Amendment, you trolls. You want to just go to town on Peyton's video. I'm just giving you another option for the argument.
Well, let's do another argument. 9mm or 45?
Oh, God.
I ask everyone that.
Here's my thing. Whatever is closest to me. I've got both. I carry personally a 9mm. For one simple reason. I know me personally. I'm not saying anybody else. I know I personally can get more shots on target during a high adrenaline situation with a 9mm just because of the lighter recoil. I've seen people with a 45 that can shoot with as little recoil as my Glock 19 has. So I'm not going to say 45s suck. I like 45s too, but I will give this warning. I had a 13-year medical background, and one night while working in the ER, a guy walked into the ER, had been shot 5 times with a 45. And he said, "Hey, everybody, I've been shot." So the whole stopping power argument, I will get into that part. I've seen someone get shot, not get shot, but I've seen somebody walk into the ER after being shot with a 45 5 times, alive, and say, "I've been shot."
All right.
Dead air! Dead air!
I thought you were going to continue with the conversation. That's why
you need to have me on the show every time just to be sitting in the background and start going, dead air, every time.
You're hired. You can add that to your resume. All right. Going back to what you were talking about, like putting shots consistently on target while stressed, how do you feel about the need to train after you purchase the firearm?
Oh, my good God. Train, and don't stop. The reason I say that is I was like a lot of people out there, shot growing up, rifles, rabbit hunt here, deer hunt there. Got my first handgun when I was probably 21, 22. Shot in the backyard with it in not a public area. It was out in a farm. And didn't have anything for a while. Finally went and got my carry permit. So you take your carry permit class. All of a sudden, you're legally allowed to carry it on your side, concealed, in Tennessee at least. And I thought I was invincible. I thought I knew everything there was to know about this handgun. I watched YouTube videos. I did blah, blah, blah. Then I went to fighting pistol in Camden with James Yeager, Tactical Response. After taking that class, I realized that if something would have happened to me before taking that fighting pistol class, I would have been killed, because one of the main things I did, I don't have a handgun on me, I'll just use this. Hey, one of the main things I did is I'd shoot until I was out. I would hit my magazine release, pull it out, put it in my pocket, because what do you do when you're at a range? You're in this little bitty booth. You got a table in front of you, so you take your magazine out, you lay it down, you take a loaded magazine, you put it back in, and you're standing still. In a real life situation, you can't do that. You've got to get off the X, is what a lot of these trainers say. The X is where they're going to be shooting. If you're just standing there and you run out of ammunition, you take the magazine out gently. No, you hit the release, you let it drop to the ground. Who cares about an empty magazine? You're about to die. You put another magazine in, but while you're reloading, you need to be moving. side to side, moving to cover, just make yourself a moving target. It's little things like that that you learn in training that you don't get in your concealed carry class, that once you start taking these trainings, it's kind of like a baseball bat to the head, like, oh my God, if anything would have happened before that, I would have been killed. And I would have been, honestly. Because when you go to the range, and I went every weekend, I was drilling into my head, take the magazine out, set it on the bench. Take the magazine out, set it on the bench. So if a real situation would have happened, what's muscle memory tell me? Take the magazine out gently, set it down. No, you drop it. Who cares? You take off. So there's a lot of mechanics that you don't get in those normal carry classes. So keep training. There's so much that I don't know that. Freaking, let's take Masad Ayub. He's constantly learning. You know, all these trainers that have been training for 20, 30, 40 years, they're still learning. There's always something new to learn in the firearms world. So I would say train, and then train some more. The moment you think you know it all, go take another class. Then you'll still learn more.
All right. So what are the things that new shooters and shooters in general need to focus on? Let's just keep it on the topic of newbies with first firearms.
Okay.
I mean,
like
what's something you focus on?
Like purchasing one, or?
No, let's just say they've already gone through that point, because that would take up an entire couple of hours in conversation. Yeah. But they've gotten at the range, they've plinked, and they're getting pretty proficient at it, which is where most people actually stop. And right. So where do they need to go after that?
Once they've gotten proficient with it?
Yeah, I'll say yes.
Okay, so they've got proficient as in they're able to do a 2-inch group on a target at 10 yards. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they're able to hit a human-sized silhouette at that distance.
Keep training. Back to the previous question. Go sign up for a training, and you don't have to go to any of the big name trainers. There's some legitimate trainers around that have some good experience and good information and knowledge to give. Let's take it a step back. Let's say they're not good at shooting yet. You know, practice your trigger control. That's a big part of it. Don't slap it, don't pull it, don't yank it. You know, it's a slow squeeze. You know, something simple along that for newbies. One little trick I do. Dang, I wish I had a gun on me. I don't. Anyways, one little trick I do. Look, here's my gun. So you got the front sight up here, and some guns have a slanted sight, so it's hard to do. But I'll put a penny on my front sight, and I'll balance it there. And dry firing, no ammo, no magazine, I'll slowly squeeze it until it breaks, and keeping that penny balanced on the front sight. That's a good help. There's little training tools out there like the SERP pistol. It's a trigger control laser gun, basically. It's really good for trigger control. There's some neat targets out there, too, that are laser reacted kind of thing. I think they're laser light or laser sight or something like that. Just when you get into firearms and you decide you're going to own a firearm, totally immerse yourself in it. And I say that because you have a lethal weapon in your hands, in your safe, on your side, in your car, in your house, wherever you keep it. That is the potential to take someone's life. You may have to use it to take someone's life. You have to be prepared to do that. So totally immerse yourself in that and know everything there is to know about it, including ATF laws. With SDI, we're partnering with a company right now with a retired ATF agent. If you want to check out their stuff, it's gunlearn.com. But we're partnering up with them to get some curriculum on the ATF rules and regulations, because there's a lot of stuff out there that people don't know. And I took their quiz on their website, and 5 questions in, I was like, holy shit, I need to have this information, because I was an idiot before. Because there's little things like you put this screw over here on this side with this little thing here, and all of a sudden you got a felony in your safe that a lot of people don't know about. It's just rules that are on the books that people aren't really sure what they are. So know the laws, know the rules, and know everything from the top to bottom about your firearm.
All right. I think we're going to wrap this up here. It's getting pretty close to the 9 o'clock hour.
Or 8 o'clock.
Or 8 o'clock for you. Yeah. Yeah, Zeke was a little late today because he thought we were on his time and not on the East Coast.
Yeah, my bad.
It's all right. We'd like to thank our sponsors, SDI. Links will be posted in the links below. Links will be posted in the description below. If anyone is interested in pursuing a degree in gunsmithing and firearms technology, go check them out. Also,
Those guys are awesome.
What's that?
Those guys are awesome.
Yeah, they are. I'd also like to thank Zeke from Talking Lead for being our guest tonight. Zeke, I'll leave you with the last words.
There you go. No, I have to do last words. I'll just use the Talking Lead sign off.
Well, use the second.
Use what?
You get the second last words then.
Okay. Keep your loved ones close and your firearms closer.
All right. Thank you for being on.
Yeah, no problem, man. And SDI.edu. Go to SDI.edu and if you want to learn a lot about guns.
Thank you all for watching and participating in tonight's podcast, and good night.